الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, it's a great pleasure and honor to be here, inshallah, and we were invited to give a martial art presentation, inshallah. So, what we would like to do is, the brother asked me about my life, inshallah, and in terms of writing a book. If I can get your undivided attention, because I hear talking and noise and I can't, if you can just, I know you're anxious and everything, but if you can just give me, because if I hear noise, I can't really focus. Jazakallah khair, thank you. So what I'm saying is that I want to give a presentation that represents us as a people, as Muslims. And I know you see martial art demonstrations and things of that nature, and you see all types of them. But we have a not just unique in respect, because it's not like we're the only ones doing this, but we do have a position which we take, and whatever we do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do for Allah, and we do for Islam. My whole take, the brother asked me, he interviewed me, and he asked me about writing a book and my life and so forth. And what I said to him, and I really truly mean this, I said if I write a book, if I ever write a book, if Allah allows that, I like it to represent the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed a person, an individual like myself, in terms of giving me life, and then where my status of life is today, because there's so many blessings, immeasurable and countless blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me, and in my life, in the journey and the pursuits that I experienced and that I became Muslim. So I like that book to represent the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful and so forgiving that He's given us, this opportunity, to worship and obey Him and to be Muslim. That's the main thing. So that's what I like this to represent. So this is the same thing. This is the same thing that we like to give to the audience, and when we do these kind of demonstrations, is to represent the Islamic spirit here. Our system is a system of what we call shinobi no jitsu. Some of you have heard it as ninjutsu, ninjas and so forth, but it's more than that. It's just that plain martial arts. It has more to do. Martial means military, means warfare, the art of warfare. And so what we like to do is like to show you that our system adapts to everyday life. And it's not just based on physical progress, or physical exertions or physical talents. There's an extreme mental and spiritual component attached to our martial arts. We have principles. Alhamdulillah, we're Muslims, so we adapt the Islamic principles to what we do. And that just enhances our program. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that fighting is prescribed for you. And He says it in this sense because some people don't like fighting. Some people don't like violence. None of us like fighting or violence, but there's a point in which fighting is necessary. And He says that you may dislike a thing, fighting, and other things. You may dislike a thing that is good for you and like a thing that is not. And He says, in fighting, there's life. And you can see the wisdom that comes from that, because in fighting means that if your family is attacked, if you're attacked, you're able to conserve and preserve your life through defending yourself and defending the ones who you love and defending Islam and so forth. So there's life in that. There's life in keeping the people that people have the intentions of annihilating us, of wiping us out. And we defend ourselves, and we preserve that life. So inshallah, this is the kind of presentation we want to offer. And we want to show you that it's not only all physical, but there's a spiritual component to it, there's a mental component, there's a soul that's involved in what we do. And at the same time, it allows you, the person who may not think that you're not capable of doing something. We're all human beings. All of us are flesh and blood. Whatever I can do, you can do as a human being. That's why Allah sent the messenger. He was a human being. He said, had angels been on the earth, he would have said angels. Why? Because we can duplicate, we can imitate other human beings. We imitate the messenger of Allah. You know, with all that we know about him, we still imitate him. So we're going to try to give you some explanation. It's going to hopefully, I want it to be a teaching moment. Not just a whole demonstration and a display and we do our thing. I want you to gain some information, some real knowledge about what we're trying to employ in respect to the martial arts here. You know, because the world is getting more and more violent every day. I mean, our children are being attacked. Children are being abducted, you know, and women are being destroyed and attacked in the streets and so forth. So the violence is getting really intense. So, you know, I have brother classes, I have sister classes, you know. I want everybody trained as much as possible, inshallah. Young, old, doesn't matter. We have them as young as 5 and 4 years old, up until whatever age, inshallah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let and see, I got white belts today, and I got some black belts, and you got brother Amin, who's been with me a long time. He's purple belt now. He'll be going for his next rank. Next rank could be brown or black, depending on, you know, his spirit at the time. But he's been with me, dedicated man. And then you have Umar's second degree, been with me for years. I've taught some of the families. I've taught some of the families, the young kids that have their children now. I've taught them, you know, since Al-Kareem, the school of Al-Kareem. So my connection to this community goes way back. And my connection to the Muslims here, you know, young and old, goes way back. And this is the honor that I'm, you know, expressing and feeling today, inshallah. Okay, so we're going to get started. So what we're going to do is, you know, just some of the belts are going to go through some of the things that they've gone through. Some of these gentlemen, the white belts, they just started, but because of the nature and the method of our teachings, you know, they're at a level that they're beginning to understand, you know, the nature of the system. You know, so they're going to go through some techniques and display back and forth, and then and then the higher belts will do their thing, and then I will follow suit, inshallah. Okay? These brothers, this is the first time they're doing the demonstration. So, you know, just give them time. But the point is that the way we train in the class, there's no choreography. They will demonstrate as they've been taught in the dojo. As you see, most of these techniques are based on, you know, block and strike and subduing the right, kicking and takedown. Okay, reverse. All right, Jared. you notice our techniques try to deal with the simplicity of striking, locking, taking down, and then locking. Our techniques, as these guys have taught, the students are taught, is the last and the final part of your technique should bring the person to the ground. The best place for a person to be, or yourself to be, is on the ground. And we have locks and grappling and so forth, you know. Sometimes you will see awkward movements. Awkward movements are part of our techniques. The first thing that you have, when we try to impress upon you, the first thing is natural movements, so that you don't have to be all awkward, and you don't have to go beyond what's necessary in terms of the body. The body adapts to whatever the situation is. We do natural movements. The first instinct is somebody throws a punch, I don't care if you're trained or not, the first thing you're going to do is try to block it. You're going to try to ward it off by throwing your hands up. But there's a method, just throwing your hands. There's a science in how to block. And the block is the first line of defense, like the skin is to the body. And it allows you to line up, and, you know, the response that you are trying to effect, the effective response that you're trying to have. The block is the first point in which allows you to counteract an attack. Okay, now Umar, he's just going to make an indication of the strike. Now, normally when we practice, people say, "Oh, people's not going to punch like that." But these are teaching moments. These are drills. We start out with drills, but we do fight. We do fight. We do present real scenarios. But right now, the person has to learn. He has to learn the nature of the block, what it entails. He has to learn the science of movement. Okay. So the first instinct is that here, when a person throws a strike, you say, now I don't know which way he's going to come. I don't tell him how to come. So the point is that this is my first line of attack.
Here, now, when I strike, I want to strike, hit it in a certain area, to the throat, break them down, shock them, and when you see them slamming to the ground, I want that effect. Movement. Fingers. That sets up for the strike. I can move around. Dislocate the shoulder. This joint. Slam to the ground. Right into the eyes. Come up. All this is a setup. Throw. Kick to the throat. Yeah. To the knee. Kick in the wrist. Put it up. Double strap. Right away. Dry kick. I block. I strap. I hit your areas in the fence. To the knee. Right down. See? It sets up. Grab. Fingers. Everybody strong. He grabs the weakest point of resistance. Down. Not a lot of effort. He's concentrating on this pressure, and I can strike it. Set him up. Yeah. This is free. In the eyes. Here. Once I shock him here, bring it. You see, comes up here. Set up. Strike him here. I lock. Slam. We start out with empty hands. We start out with empty hands. And then we escalate the threat. It comes with fists. You can deal with that. But then now, the risk factor, the life-threatening situation is the knife.
We always teach our students, the thread is in the hand. A lot of times people like to block and they move away without disarming your opponent. Our focus is on disarming, eliminating the threat. Right, that's how you want your opponent before his weapon. notice it's always clear the zone of attack. Always clear the attacker's attack, and then what we do is we play on the attacker's energy. Once you get a grip on that lance, the hand knife, the knife that holds the hand, you just don't let it go. Okay, sometimes that can happen. The idea, even though he slashed across, he might have got caught, but we teach you not to give up. You're not Superman.
Okay. Now, right. This is where the attack is going to come, just like this, right? The guy hiding. You don't know if the guy's hiding or not. But what we do, we train the body to move regardless. Our thing, we're from the hood, we understand the community. Anybody that comes up to you and is confident, you know there's something happening. Especially if you're a peaceful person, you're not looking for any trouble. If a person comes to you, know this, he's got too much confidence, you have to perceive that he's already got a weapon or something. You perceive that right away. And that what happens, even if he doesn't have a weapon, the perception that he has a weapon allows you to even move more serious, more sensitive. Okay? So I don't know he has a weapon. So and I don't tell them how to attack. If I get caught, I get caught. Whatever's which way. Right away, I want to disarm. Now, the thing is, I teach them to use peripheral vision. I teach them to work from the movement of a person. Not to be able to I don't have to see the attack. I teach them to determine whether a move is friendly or hostile. So they don't have to look for the attack. They feel the movement. You see? When you move, what happens here, just disarm. That's what I teach. Disarm the knife. You say, now here, once I get a grip of here, he needs this. He needs this elbow. So he's working his elbow, so it at least slows him down. I work on the joints. What happens, look, my grip. People grip the wrist. Now, I replace my hand with his hand. The weakest point of his hand is that thumb. So what I do is, I place it here. Now, watch. Because they call it death grip. If somebody is coming out with your knife and you grab, you're holding on for dear life. More so than the opponent. But watch. Here. That's what I do. Take the weakest, I work the fingers. Right. Bring them up close. You see, he wants to change up. At least, yeah. I work on his energy. A lot of times some people that are trained, they're struggling now. He doesn't, I work on his energy. His energy. Again. Regular. Well, stay regular. Somebody come. Tie somebody. I'll auto move. I stay in close. Again, because his first reaction is to retreat. Right. But I'm close to him. And I use his own momentum. Regular. See, I loosen up. I hit the right points. That's it. See, his fingers is all, you know that feeling, right? Hit the elbow, That's what we teach. Pressure points. Disarm. You see, I throw up my hands, keep a barrier. you can realize what you do in the street, deadly force requires deadly reaction. So, you say some people just get startled. Here, watch this. See his face? Hey, now, in the street, right? Hopefully you didn't see that. Would you ever know that my sensei, Sensei Mama Duncan, who has since passed away, left us with so many legacies in terms of training and survival? You wouldn't think whatever's in his hands is a weapon. So newspapers. You say newspaper, yeah. Newspaper. You ever sometimes you might have whacked your children. You ever roll up a newspaper? Yeah. So, and you know, sitting on a train, bus, and you happen to be reading your newspaper. You know, I'm reading my newspaper, and the person wants to attack. Right? Yeah. Just try to roll it up. Right? So he feels that. Right? Another form. They say, I see the move. So I can hit him just enough to startle, strike him. I strike him in those soft tissues. Yeah, he feels that, right? Big man like me. Scared of the newspaper, huh? Or I can hit him head. Right? He's got a knife. I'm just showing you. Daily news, Times, whatever I happen to have, you know, the John Day or whatever it goes. So what I'm telling you, I'm just showing you the possibilities. And, you know, we deal with traditional weapons. Yeah. Yeah. This is what you call a hammer. Hammer, you know, like these illegals who walk the street. This could be a cane. Huh? Sometimes you see people that are a ninja, you don't know if he's just a cripple or he's just using it as a weapon. But if you're not, you know, you use like a cane, a stick, you carry these, no problem. It allows you to understand what this is able to do. And then we work on handling stick. This is called a handle. So, against another stick, here, the block is, you see a lot of times people like to block the stick. No. What I want to do, again, I want to take out the hands. That's the mechanics. That's the mechanism that's holding the weapon. Once I can do that, he's not able to have a strong grip, and now his consciousness is taken. So what I do also, this allows me to lock from here. Okay? That's the effect that I want. Hey. any weapon, the tip of it, the end, that's where the most power. So you want to minimize. That's why you step. If he strikes, you're in the path where it's most powerful, that's going to take you out. So what I do is, as I step past the point of his power. Here. Now I can block. My body is a weapon. My body, I can block, shoulder, I can hit, turn away, strike. Listen. Yeah. And you see, if you notice, I'm hitting the hand. He's coming. Hit. Hand. What I do is put this against me, and I elbow straight down, and I can lock here, and I can choke from this point. All right, from this point here. Listen. This weapon was used against the sword. The nature of the ninja was to confront a samurai. That's what I want. Let's open it up. Head. You see, I'm always trying to guard. Now from here, this arm. Listen. Okay, now, you remember I said anything is a weapon. You would never conceive that a credit card. You know, you heard of paper cuts, right? You know how paper cuts. So if you use it the right way, you surprise everyone. That's why awkwardness is part of our system. So, if I happen to have a credit card, he has a knife, right across the island. If I do it fast enough, I can cut the throat. Good. But I want to hit the soft tissue, right across the island. Now if you notice, I still have control. You see that? Remember I said the thumb, now the pinky. See, I want to go for the whole hand because he has a strong grip. So what I do is go for the least. He needs that pinky. You see? And I want to do that. I want to make it as easy as possible. I can come under before he can realize I come across here. And it's done real fast. Here. Breaking across that eye. And then, listen. Okay, the last point. The gun. The gun is the most dangerous weapon. The knife is the most intimidating. Some people say, well, I'd rather get shot than get stabbed. Because most of you have experienced in some form or another the effects of knife cuts. And it's just the idea of being cut by a knife, creates anxiety. A person holds a gun, something that you're not familiar. You know what it can do, but you're not familiar with it, so you did not have that psychological effect. You panic. I've had guns placed in front of me. I had students that had guns, they disarmed them. Because you got to learn. That's why we train so that when these dangerous moments come, you're able to adapt to it. You're able to adapt to the point Not to the point that you're overconfident, but at least you're trained to what to expect and allowing yourself to be put in a situation to defend yourself. As Muslims, this is the spiritual part. Your life is in the Lord's hand at all different times. I don't care if the person got a machine gun to your head. Right? I don't care if he feels that he has the advantage. Your life is in the Lord's hand. I teach my students to say these weapons, this is not your God. Because sometimes people lose the weapon and they lose all consciousness. They come out, they have intended to do harm to you, and so for some reason the weapon jams or they lose it, and right away they don't have no follow-up, inshallah. That's because they determined that this weapon, I'm going out, I'm going to shoot somebody, I'm going to kill somebody. That's not in their hands. They have a plan, and Allah has the best of plan. So people get shot 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and still survive. It doesn't matter. People fall off rooftops and survive. So it's in the Lord's hands. It's my conclusion. And this is the conclusion because again, I spoke about the threat level in terms of what you would be, the possibility, what you would be confronted with in the street. Hands to the knife, to the stick, and the last one is the weapon. This is the ultimate weapon. It's a projectile. What leaves that chamber in millions of seconds. But what I teach my students is that this has no brains to it. This is only pure mechanism. It's a machine. It needs somebody behind it. Now, this may have a response of so many millions of seconds, but the brain doesn't. So I'm dealing with the person behind the gun. I'm not going to try to compete with the gun itself, but I'm going to compete with that man's mind, the person's holding that gun. And there's several things that I can do to allow some hesitation on that person's part, at least some distraction that allows me, inshallah, to do what I do, to defend myself. And like I said, I had guns, or at least a gun point to my head. And alhamdulillah, I was relaxed. By the time I made any move, Allah sent help. The police was plain clothes was like right there. But I was going to do whatever I need to do. But Allah saved your life in many ways. I have brothers that had guns put and they were able to disarm them. So that's what I'm talking about. So that's why I teach them. This is the spiritual part of my training. Is that we depend on Allah. We trust in Allah, not on the techniques. The techniques is not the solution to what we do. Allah is the solution. He sends the technique. If Allah is in your technique in that sense and guide you will be delivered. And that's the point. So the point is here. Good. Now, in most cases, a professional, he's going to hold you at bay to the side. Hardest thing to defend them. Nothing's impossible. There's probability that we're dealing with when it comes to situations like that. So if I know that the guy's gonna, if I can sense he's gonna shoot me, then I gotta do something. So in some sense, I'm like this, he may move, not to me, but just move away because, moving target is hard to hit too. So you move up here, right? But at least he's not gonna just stand there, he's gonna move and he's gonna close the gap. Then we come in. I move, and you see, now it takes me time. I'm trying to beat his mind. But know that the hardest point of defense, if a professional has his gun here, or he has it here, most of the time, professional people are going to be at a distance. They're not going to be up there. I've seen films, I got films where guys have had at a distance, and the guy has a knife, and he comes bearing down on that person, quick, and the guy couldn't even get the shot off, and the guy was right up on him. So people are determined, no matter what you have, if they're determined, their spirit is as such, they can overcome what you come with. All right? But we're dealing with the cop is just not going to come and shoot you, although we do have cases. People think the cops thinking guns or wallets and things. But in most cases, the cop is or the licensed gunman he's able to display, but he's going to be at a distance. But the criminal, he doesn't have a license. So when the criminal come up on you, sometimes they'll do this. You know? And you just, no, you do this, and you don't pull it, I'm moving. But I have to have some method to move with. And even if I didn't, you do whatever you can to save your life. The criminal's gonna do this. You know, he's not gonna do this. He's gonna come up on you. Well, that's the advantage that I would have. The probability is much greater for me to defend myself when he's up on me like that. The closer he is, the better for the defense. So, he's gonna come up on me, so right away. Now look, what I do is I try it, and it's hard. Anxiety sets in, this is a gun, my life is being taken up until, again, put your put your trust in the law. You put your trust in the law, you begin to understand the calm will come over you. Now the calm is that he doesn't feel the tension that can come from, translate from here, the vibe that translates from here to that gun to him. If he feels tension here, so if he feels right, if I do that, boom, because he feels that. He's just as nervous as you are. So you want him to be calm, Okay, brother, you got that, Right? See, it took time for the impulse to come down to him before he could realize what was going on. So what I'm doing is, now, he may be doing all the talking. It takes a lot from the mind, right? The intellect, to do a lot of talking. And see why he's doing the talking, because all his concentration is here. It takes a little more time for him, unless he has pure intent just to shoot me outright, but he just want to take me off. I let him do all the talking. Don't argue with him. Don't look at him in the face like, yeah, right, what you gonna do? Get humble. Get humble, okay, brother. Be submissive. Okay. Right. You say you got that in that finger, and always turn the gun towards him. It goes off. It goes off to him. Now, people think that you can just grab any gun. You gotta know your weapons. This is like, it could be 9mm, it could be 45, whatever the case is, right? You gotta know the slide action weapons. And you gotta know where to touch these weapons, because, you see people just grabbing, it's got a porthole here where the shells eject. That porthole, you're not stopping. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna compete against the machine. This porthole, when it shoots, boom, and it goes back. It goes back into position. And you can't stop that. So imagine, you put your hand over here, even though you block it, but then that thing slide goes back and gets a piece of your skin on your hand. The pain is excruciating. So that might destroy your whole technique. You can't feel that pain. So you gotta know where to grab from the weapon. So what I do is, if I'm gonna disarm the side of the weapon, here, I keep away from the port, but here, if I do, come from the back, here, off, close to the front, or what I do again, from the fingers, here. When I'm manipulating the hands, I turn, because he can't resist from me. You see, the more he resists, resist, it's to him. Now he sees that weapon pointing at him, he'd be a fool to shoot, right? So right away, but he's going to struggle. You see, now what I do, all the weapon here is pointing towards him. And I just manipulate it. And here, you see, I disarm him. And I say, now, tables are turned. You see, now I got him locked, plus he feels that barrel. He feels that muzzle in his, from there, okay? Now, he puts it to my chest. Here. Now, you got to remember, when you move, you got all this covered. So you got to remember that if you move, you're moving, it's too much angle to cover here. So you want, after you say from here, you don't move across, but at the same time, you here. And get loud, here. You remember where I said, don't touch that porthole. Here. You see how his finger is? Grab the finger. Now most of the time he's going to have it in the trigger. From here. So what I'm doing is, once I move here, I just keep turning. Keep turning. You see that trigger finger? I can break it off. You see? Or I can just leave it in there. Okay? And I can replace it with mine. I don't have to take it out. Keep it there. And I got the hand on the trigger. From there, okay? To the head. Here, what I'm doing is the different direction. I go down, push up. Now again, he's got it here.